Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets and Quants.
I'm Sandy Kreisberg, the HBS guru.
Indeed. And we are here again with another episode of Handicapping Your MBA Odds. Today's candidate is a 26-year-old white male. He is working for a mid-sized real estate consulting company. He's had several promotions in that job. In fact, before he matriculates to business school, he will have had a little over 4 years in the job. He went to a state school. He calls it a directional state school. I'm not sure what that really means.
I think it's the opposite of an undirectional state school.
His major was in statistics, finance, and real estate. He had a GPA of 3.6. He has a GMAT of 730 with a 75 quant, and he's wondering whether or not he should retake it. In fact, he thinks he could actually score above a 750. He is a little unsure about what school he wants to apply to yet, but here's the interesting career goal that he has. He wants to go to business school to do a startup in real estate evaluation and software. And then, and this is a really peculiar switch, he wants to go into private equity if his startup kind of doesn't work out, right?
Yeah, but not any private equity.
No, not he does. He
No
specifically says he does not want to work for a vanilla PE company. He wants to work for one that's kind of involved in the field that he's already in, right?
Yes, that's what he says.
Okay. So what do you think?
I think this guy is likable from my point of view, but he presents as confusing. It could be, people just open up when they're writing into Poets and Quants.
Especially to you, Sandy. They open up to you.
Yeah, because I'm so nice.
Like you're the priest in the confessional,
This guy has to get his game face on by the time he applies. Here's what we got. We got a 3.6 from a state school, directional or not. That's okay. We'll deal with the GMAT later. 730 GMAT. I'll address this later. That's a good score. Should he take it again, and if he can get a 750, it could help in this case.
Yeah.
A lot is going to turn. Real estate is a semi-dirty word to admissions officers.
Why?
They don't view it as selective. They don't understand it, and they think it's like next to
used car dealerships.
Right? Yeah.
It's a little dirty.
Yeah, in many cases.
You start thinking about Donald Trump.
You said that. Okay. A lot is going to turn on what they think of his company. What did he say the company was, John?
Yeah, it's a mid-sized real estate consulting firm with a history. He's had a history of several promotions, but his primary responsibility was managing a handful of contracts with large brand name clients in the real estate industry. Don't really have a lot of clarity in that. Let me just read that through my fingers.
I think what he's doing is really big firms hire his firm to do many iterations of something that is annoying. I think I got that right, okay?
Although, he says that he's gained experience with U.S. assets worth up to $1.5 billion and funds worth up to $20 billion. He has a few full-time
I've got
direct
that
reports.
too. I'm an investor in the Magellan Fund. It's worth all kinds of $1 billion. I've got experience with Magellan, with Vanguard S&P 500. That's worth like billions of dollars. That's not going to impress a business school, okay?
He's got to be more specific, right?
Yeah, he's got to get his act together. I don't want to come down too hard on this guy. It just could be a presentation problem.
Yeah.
What we got is a guy with a 3.6, a 730, works for an undetermined kind of real estate company. Friend, leave it at that. What did he say his goals were?
Well, private equity. He wants to...
Yeah, don't say that.
But the first thing he wants to do is try a startup.
Kiss of death, okay? Business schools don't like startups. How come, John?
Well, because I don't know why. I mean, it's become very hot, actually. You know, a lot of schools are investing a lot of money in entrepreneurship right now.
Yeah, but that's not the way you get in. This is where there's a disconnect between the admissions office and the reality. Admissions officers don't like startups because they don't know how to judge it. They are afraid it won't work, and you will register as unemployed. Okay?
Yeah.
And they don't understand it, and to be honest, you ain't gonna learn how to be if you got such a hot idea to be a startup, you know, we don't need no stinking MBA, okay? If you want to do a startup, it's called a startup. It's not called wait 2 years and startup, okay? There's a reason why it's called startup. Yes.
Okay, but I have to, you know, I'm of the school that says you can learn a hell of a lot about business. You can have make a lot of contacts with important people to help your business. You can actually find seed money. So today more than ever, it may not be such a bad idea to get an MBA before you start a company.
That may be true. The issue we're talking about is, do you say that when you apply, particularly if you have a zero background in that?
Yes.
Which is what this guy has.
Right. Right.
Okay. If you've been involved in a startup, if you've had a startup, if you've worked for a successful startup, then it's and you're in an environment where the people around you are doing startups, you know, you're in a startup culture, then it would be acceptable to say you want to do a startup.
Well,
for this guy, it sounds like pie in the sky.
In any case, you would definitely agree that you don't want to say, if my startup doesn't succeed, then I want to go into private equity. Okay, because private equity is so hard to get into anyway. It's the most lucrative field for any MBA. And to be saying, I want to do a startup, but if that doesn't kind of work out, then I want to do real estate PE.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. And we don't have to come down too heavily on this guy. The reason is, an admissions officer reads that and just says, you don't have your act together, you don't know what you want to do, you're confused, you're out of it. Admissions officers don't like confusion.
He'd be better saying straight out, I want to work in PE in real estate, right?
No, he'd be better off saying straight out, I want to transition into real estate development.
Huh.
That's always, don't change anything, okay? For the admissions office, change is bad, okay? Change is bad. You understand? Continue doing what you're doing. Get an MBA and go back to it. Why, John?
Why? Because you're safe.
You're not safe, they're safe.
Admissions officers are risk adverse, and whenever they can accept someone who they know will be a success, they'll accept them.
Right.
I mean, it's simple.
If this guy, pivot, that's a good word. That's a new fancy word.
Yes.
This guy wants to pivot from what he's doing, doing annoying iterations for huge clients, into real estate development or whatever the intersection of real estate and an MBA is. Development, right?
Yeah.
Consulting, that's what he should say. Stick with the real estate, friend.
Another little downside in his profile is there's no extracurricular activity. He set up a scholarship at his alma mater, but that's about it.
That's not a big deal. That's neither here nor there. Don't start one.
Yeah.
It's not going to help.
All right, so he didn't pick any schools, but let's pick a few schools for him. You know, Wharton is great at real estate.
Let's D-pick. Harvard, Stanford, Wharton. No.
Really? Even with a 730?
Yeah, because he doesn't come from a feeder firm.
Okay, but this is a guy who thinks he can actually get a 750 plus. Is it going to make a difference for him?
At Wharton, possibly.
Yeah.
Their search. They're so amenable to big numbers. I often phrase this differently. But
how do you phrase it? Yeah. I know exactly what he's thinking.
Right.
Okay.
They're so amenable to big numbers that it's possible you could get into Wharton with a 750. Yeah.
Right. Another good school could be Columbia for him because of the real estate thing.
Yeah, Wharton, Redux.
Yeah. Same odds.
Yeah.
Columbia. What about UCLA?
Yeah,
You know?
once you get to the UCLA, once you're in U.S. News, 4 through 10, these stats are solid.
Yeah, they're in the pocket.
And then
definitely.
just get your act together, pal. Real estate development. Real estate development.
All right. Well, hey, good luck to you, and good luck to all you other applicants out there. If you would like Sandy to analyze your profile, just fill it in the comment section, and we'll get to it. Thanks for listening.